Hello, my name is Frank Christensen and I'm the coordinator of officials for IFAF Europe. This is training tape number 1 of 6 dealing with forward progress. So we're going to have a look at how we get a proper forward progress, and we'll have a look at some examples of really good mechanics and some that can use a little improvement. But before we get to the game film, let's have a look to see what the rulebook and the MOFO have to say on this topic. In the rulebook, forward progress is defined in Rule 292. Forward progress is a term indicating the end of advancement by a ball carrier or airborne pass receiver of either team and applies to the position of the ball when it becomes dead by rule. In 513, forward progress, it says the most forward point of the ball when declared dead between the end lines shall be the determining point in measuring distance gained or lost by either team during a down. Exceptions: first one is Rule 851, which of course we all know deals with safeties. And the second one, when an airborne pass receiver of either team completes the catch inbounds after an opponent has driven him backwards and the ball is declared dead at the spot of the catch, the forward progress is where the player received the ball. In the MOFO, we go to 5-7 dealing with marking spots. In normal play, forward progress usually only needs to be marked to a tolerance of 1 foot. Since the ball is just less than 1 foot long, this means there are only 3 positions that a ball can be in between any pair of yard lines. A. With the nose, the most forward point of the ball on the forward yard line. B. With the middle of the ball midway between the 2 yard lines. And C. With the tail, the rearmost point of the ball on the back yard line. Note that in this system, the ball is never positioned spanning a line. And finally, officials need only mark forward progress to the nearest one of these points, except A. when the line to gain or goal line is concerned, in which case more accuracy is necessary, and B. after change of possession, a start of a new series, in which case the dead ball spot should always be marked with the nose of the ball on the nearest yard mark. And the when in doubt principles number 17 says, if the ball carrier is being held by only one player, the ball is still alive. If held by 2 or more, forward progress is stopped. Now, let's have a look at some game film. In this first example, we're looking at the bottom receiver who's obviously going to get the ball, and then he's going to get pushed back, and this wing does an excellent job of giving him progress. So what we need to do as wings is kind of take a snapshot with our brain camera, if you will, at the spot where the receiver gets the ball, controls the ball, and then is contacted by the defense and is pushed back. And it certainly looks here like it's around the 49, which is also where we get progress. Now, one interesting thing is he needs to control this ball, and he needs to keep control of it all the way to the ground to get his progress. If he bobbles the ball, if it's loose right here, he doesn't get progress until he regains possession, and this is a situation where we might need help from the umpire. He is probably the only one who would have a good angle to see if the ball is loose. The wing certainly wouldn't be able to see it, the deep wing neither, or the back judge. So the umpire would be the only one who could come in and say he bobbled the ball, we're going to go with the 50 or maybe even the 49. But provided that he maintains control here, and here he's contacted and moved back, this is a correct spot by this wing. Similar situation here where the receiver catches the ball here at the bottom of the screen, and then he's contacted and driven back. Now, again, what we want to do is kind of make a snapshot, not when the receiver gets the ball, which is around here, but rather when he's contacted, which is around here. And then again, make this snapshot with your brain camera to see that he gets the ball around the 33-yard line. Here, unfortunately, we end up giving him 2 extra yards. Now, if you'll notice, the wing across the field actually has a more accurate spot. So if you have any doubts, for whatever reason you were focused on something else, or something else caught your attention right when the receiver was contacted, if you have any doubts on your progress spot, feel free to look across the field to your buddy on the other side. And if you are that buddy on the other side who had a better angle, you are more than welcome to, it has to be quick, but go on the radio and say, hey, are you sure about this spot? I have it down here, to give your colleague a chance to improve the spot and get a better spot, because that is at the end of the day what we want to achieve. So it should have been here probably, and we end up giving him a little bit too much on this one. Another play from the same game actually, and again we'll have the receiver coming back, catching the ball, being contacted and driven back. And again, it's we don't want right here on this side of the 50 where he catches the ball. What we're interested in is right here on the other side of the 50 where he is contacted. That is his forward progress. The fact that he moves from one 49 to the other 49 on his own merit, that is his own problem. Forward progress is when he's pushed back. What we want with our brain camera, we want a snapshot of right there, and if we give it to him on the 50, I would be perfectly fine with that. Here we end up shorting him at least a yard, maybe even 2, to kind of give him progress where he lands, where he should have had the forward progress where he was contacted and driven back. And again, you'll notice that the wing on the other side actually has a better spot. So if you have any doubts, work together as a pair of wings to get these progress spots right. On this play, we have a little twist to it. We still have a receiver coming back to the wall, getting pushed back, but then he almost breaks free. So some of the aspects are still the same. He controls the ball here. This is not what we want with our brain camera. This is right here where the contact is made. This is what we want. So probably the +1 on the big yard line. But then what happens is he almost breaks free. Now, I would say that as long as the tackle is still made, I would still give him the 44-yard line and not the 46 where he ends up. Had he broken free, if number 3 had broken free from B2 here, and then he's tackled anywhere, that would be his new progress spot. But since, even though he tries to reach, even because this is still the initial tackle, I would still give him progress up to the +1 here. And here we actually have a very good situation where the primary wing here has him short on the 45, but as you'll notice up on at the top, the linesman actually very quickly gets to the correct spot and goes on the radio to say, I have a better spot, and we end up with the correct spot here. So interesting situation here, but good communication, good cooperation between these two wings. In this example, a lot of the aspects are the same, but the line of scrimmage official here at the bottom has a nice little touch to his movement where he keeps facing the field. He sidesteps keeping his focus on the field, allowing him to look at these players as he's coming in. Now we still have the catch here, or the control, and then the contact there, and then we end up, it's a pretty good spot. It's a very good spot, actually. One thing that I might say is this signal here to the chain. Just make sure that you don't confuse the chain where the entire chain moves and not only the box. If you want to avoid that, you can just show him what down it's going to be, and that can be the signal for the box to move. But as long as you agree with the chain crew before the game how you're going to do that, you're fine. But again, very good spot by this wing, and very good movement with the side steps to keep your focus on the field so that you can monitor players and dead ball action. This last example will end up as a run and not a receiver being forced backwards. So it's a little different, but you'll notice here that we end up giving progress at the 50, and that's just a little bit too generous. So let's have a look to see how we can improve this. As a wing, I would encourage you to watch these plays over and over and over again, so that you can recognize what happens here. His knee is down, probably at the 48, and in any case, whenever a runner goes face first or lands on his belly, chances are that, like there, he lands on his belly, chances are the knee hits before his belly hits. So if you see he's down at the, let's say, the 49, like this, chances are that the ball was a yard back when the knee hit. Now he also slides an extra yard, and we certainly shouldn't give him the slide. But if your brain camera gives you your snapshot at the 49 and you see him on his belly, I would be fine with you just subtracting 1 yard, because when he lands on his belly, his knee was down prior to that. And sure enough, if we look at this and we try to freeze it right there, this is probably where he's down, and this is where we end up giving it. So the more times you watch something like that, the better you will get at it. And if you look at his landing on his belly, that would be your indicator that you can subtract a little bit on this progress, so that we are more accurate. And that was this training tape. I hope you found something you can use on the field.